How quick is it to turn the page right now, or is that just the business when you have one of the most epic comebacks and now you get the back-to-back champs in your house?
That's just normal business for us when you play on Monday night, when you play these night games. I know we had not as used to them around here the last couple of years, but when you want to play these big moments and these big time games, this is what happens. And you got to be able to turn the page pretty quickly. You got to be able to evaluate. You got to be able to assess what happened the night before. Go find out what you can get better. Do some of those type of different things, and then start to look at your new opponent that's coming up this week at the Kansas City Chiefs, because you better be ready for those guys.
Elad?
Yeah, Coach, how are you all health-wise coming out of this one?
Pretty healthy. I'll probably get a more in-depth report a little later after this, D-Lad. I don't think I've heard about anybody having any real issues as of right now. A couple of little bumps and bruises that I've heard about, but I'll get a more in-depth report for you later when I meet with those guys. I think probably at about 5 o'clock or so today.
And the Landman move right before kickoff there, what led to that? And are you a little thin at inside linebacker now?
We're probably a little thin, having 3 on the active roster. We do have 1 on practice squad, as you know, but you got a lot of confidence in those 3 guys to go out there and execute what we need to get done in order to allow Landman to get back and be ready to play for us when he gets healthy.
And could you discuss, just doing a little lightweight film review today? The running is easy to see, but the blocking of Bijan Robinson yesterday, I saw a couple chip blocks and so forth. Just him being a well-rounded, or trying to develop into a well-rounded back. Is that what you all are seeing too here early on in the season?
Yeah, that's the vision for Bijan. Bijan is a well-rounded back, can go out there and do whatever you ask. You're probably more excited about him stepping up, making a couple of those blocks when it came to pass protection yesterday, doing some of those different things. You've seen the chip blocks at the end on some of the defensive ends, which was really exciting. But Bijan can always catch the ball at the backfield. Bijan has always been known as a runner. Now him developing into this pass pro guy, and also being able to help out with some of the chips, some of the things he's able to do, the screen game, whatever the case may be, whatever's called upon, Bijan can do. My son calls him Black Panther, and he plays like it.
Reminder, if you have any questions, please stop. I have a question in the chat. We'll call you. Mark Ramondi. Mark?
Hey, sorry, guys. Technical difficulties. Apologies, Rod. Just a game like that, Monday Night Football, the way you guys won, what can that do, for the morale and just for the team in general? To Kurt was talking about, building character, building resolve. What can it do for a team?
For me, it's not as emotionally driven as it is for some of the players. But for some of the players, it just pumps a little bit of more. It pumps more belief in them. For us, we go around saying it all the time, but when players actually go out and execute it and do it, it's just something for those guys that just creates this energy for those guys to be able to get out there knowing that they can do anything at any time, like they proved last night. For us, I kind of walk around with that kind of belief that they can do it at all times. But when they can go out there and actually show it to themselves and do it for themselves, I think that's just a little bit more special when those guys go do it together and how they want to do it last night.
Daniel?
Yeah, Rob. I wanted to ask you about Rook. What's kind of the motivation behind him being a healthy scratch the last few weeks?
Daniel, I'm sorry, you were breaking up when you asked.
Oh, apologies. Yeah, about Rook. Why has he been inactive the last few weeks?
You get 6 linemen that we're putting up right now, defensive linemen, and right now we've been going with Eddie Goldman. We've been going with Grady Jarrett, David. We've had Zach Harris, we've had TQ, and we've had Katavius Street up. Guys that have played a bunch of football that are really working that rotation right now. And those guys have been up first. And Rook's done a great job in practice of really potentially having an opportunity to crack the lineup at some point. I'm not sure when that's going to happen. I've been really pleased with his practice habits. I've been really pleased with the way the guy's going about his business. He just happened to be surrounded by a bunch of vets right now that are actually really intentfully doing a good job for us. And I don't know, I'll ask you maybe next week, Daniel, which one of those guys you want to put down and put Rook up.
Zach? Coach, I apologize for not knowing all the kickoff rules, but if they would have accepted the penalty on Drake to push you guys back, what would that have done in terms of the yardage? And were you actually maybe surprised about them just forcing Koo to kick it there as opposed to taking it on the kickoff?
No, I'm not. I'm not surprised at it because the kickoff, really, it's a little bit different now, right? You kick it out or you kick it into the landing zone. So I don't think it affects you as much of moving up, unless you're down and you decide to go for the onside kick and things of that nature, right there trying to get the ball back. But you push that thing back to make who make a 40, a 7-yard field goal, basically a field goal, but there's an extra point to win the football game. That's a really good decision with them, especially with the amount of push that they've been generating. Like part of our emphasis this week on special team was being protected on our punt team and our field goal protection because of how good and how, tough these guys are to protect against when you're talking about the Philadelphia front and what they were able to do to most people throughout last year and even this year in the first game. So that was a big emphasis for us this week. So I think they made the right decision by trying to force a tough extra point there.
Quick follow-up. I'm not as a young cat as I used to be, so I'm not hip with what the cool kids are doing about celebrations. But did you talk to him about that? What was that? And it's just with Drake, was it kind of a misunderstanding?
Initially, I didn't see it, and I guess it was the use of a weapon, how people interpreted that as a fine, as a penalty. And Drake is he's a great kid. And his intent was not as a use of a weapon. He probably was shooting T-shirts into the stands, to be honest with you, because he's just that kind of a guy. But he was excited. He got excited. He's one of those guys that plays with great energy. He immediately apologized on site before I can even get a chance to correct him. The same with Ray Ray. We had two 15-yard penalties, whatever the penalties were, two personal foul penalties last night. One where Ray Ray got his mouthpiece snatched and reacted, and another one where Drake celebrated too long. Things that could hurt you, that we got to get better at, and those are great lessons for us to learn while winning.